It's 6:47 a.m. Your alarm hasn't gone off yet, but your phone's been lighting up on your nightstand for about an hour. You reach for it to turn the snooze off for the second time. Eyes barely open, pillow still warm, no coffee. Your AI assistant has already drafted 2 emails in your voice, summarized 3 whole meetings that you haven't even attended yet, and recommended 3 strategic decisions for your day. They sound right, they look like you, they sound like you approve, one swipe. Now, which one of those decisions did you actually make? Last year in a conference room, 50 people, graduate students, executives, creatives, people who use AI every single day, I asked them this one question. What decisions have you decided that AI should never make for you? Silence. 50 people, not one answer. No curriculum's teaching it. No job description mentions it. No workshop provides it. And that's when I realized there's a risk that we're not naming. There's a skill that we're not building and a risk that we're not naming. What I came here to say goes against everything the tech industry is selling you right now. And I do say selling on purpose. We're teaching people how to use AI faster than we're teaching them how to judge it. Calling this a gap feels too small. What we're looking at is a fundamental risk to our society. And AI didn't create this gap, but what it did was scale it instantly. The World Economic Forum reports that the spread of AI-amplified misinformation is the #1 global risk 2 years in a row. And there's more data to back this up. The AI Incident Database, which tracks every AI failure worldwide, reports that AI failures are up 50% year over year. And still, the assumption right now is that the #1 skill is intelligence. Prompt better, automate faster, produce more. But intelligence was never the bottleneck. We spent all of our time over-indexing for intelligence, completely overlooking the missing skill that actually directs it: discernment. Discernment is the ability to know what to question and to know what to trust before you act. It's the pause between hearing information and believing it. It's the filter between receiving information and forwarding it. You already use it, you're just not naming it. When your gut tells you to sit with that email a little bit longer, that's discernment. When you're in a meeting and you hear a stat or a data point and your brain says that doesn't add up before you even know why, that's discernment. When your kid comes home from school and you look at them in their face and they say nothing's wrong, and you say, no, sit down, let's have a talk, that's discernment. It's not a vibe, it's not a soft skill. It's the oldest, most practical human skill we have. And here's where it gets personal for me, outside of the data. Because the skill is not new, and the people who know it best are not in Silicon Valley. For centuries in Black communities, discernment has not been optional. It's been our survival skill. Reading the room before you speak. knowing what's safe to say and to whom, understanding what somebody means underneath what they actually said, reading body language in an office and knowing that smile is not agreement. That's a setup. Some people call it double consciousness. Some people call it reading the room. In my experience, it's the most sophisticated real-time pattern recognition that any community has ever had to develop. Not by choice, but by necessity. And here's the irony that should keep every AI company up at night. The communities that have been practicing discernment the longest, reading the room, decoding the systems, asking the questions of what they were told, are the same communities being told to teach themselves AI literacy. Get AI literate or get left behind. Get AI literate or worse, get left out of the conversation entirely. And that isn't anecdotal. The skill exists. It's just not being valued in the rooms that are building the systems. Simultaneously, in the communities that are building the LLMs that have never had to question whether a system was designed for them, are the ones approving AI outputs without a second look. What I'm referring to is not a skills gap. I see a discernment gap. There is no shortage of people prompting, but there is a shortage of people that know when to question the answer. In faith traditions around the world, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, indigenous religions, discernment has always required three things: a pause, a reflection, and humanity. Sound familiar? Well, that's exactly what AI takes away. The pause gets removed. Reflection is replaced by speed. And certainty, well, AI has certainty in abundance. It will give you the wrong answer with the confidence of a human that's never been questioned in their whole life. Discernment is not new, but what is new is that we stopped accounting for it. We've built an entire AI infrastructure on the assumption that intelligence was the bottleneck, or processing speed, or productivity. And big tech built tools for that, and it worked. But we never stopped to question what happens when you remove the pause. What happens when reflection gets replaced by output? When the tool gives you a confident answer and nothing in your workflow says to wait. And this is how you lose discernment without noticing. It doesn't announce itself. It just quietly stops being required. Because discernment underpins everything that we claim to care about. Your values. Discernment is how you know which ones are yours and which ones came from your feed. Or which one came from the algorithm that's been studying you for 3 years. Your decision-making. Discernment is how you know the difference between deciding and just approving. Your agency. Discernment is how you remain the author of your own life. When everything around you is designed to write it for you. And your taste, your actual hard-won taste in people, in ideas, in culture, in strategy, in art. Taste is discernment with a point of view. And you cannot have a point of view if you outsource your thinking to something that doesn't have one. Let me make this concrete. A hiring manager uses AI to screen 500 resumes. She chooses the top 10. She does not ask what the model is rewarding. And it deprioritized every applicant that took a career break. Every caregiver, every veteran, every formerly incarcerated applicant disappears. By letting the model decide, she just deferred. She didn't choose. Now with discernment, same tool, same situation, she asks, who is this filtering out? Who is absent from this? What is the model rewarding? And that's the difference between using a tool and being used by one. When discernment is absent as skill, errors are easier to spot. Bias multiplies. Responsibility evaporates. We are delegating judgment before clarifying values, trusting outputs without interrogating context, and we're calling that progress. You encounter more information today than someone in the 15th century encountered in their entire lifetime. But nothing in our system has made that shift. But all hope isn't lost. I believe discernment can be learned. So I built a framework and I call it TASTE. 5 stages of mental grounding before you ever open up an AI tool. Tune, ground yourself before you produce. Assess, make meaning before you make decisions. Select, choose what to say no to. Translate, turn that clarity into a format. Embody, choose to live that standard until it's yours. No tools, no prompts, just judgment, clarity, and strategic restraint. This isn't anti-AI. I use AI every single day. But when discernment is involved, AI becomes what it was always meant to be: an assistant, an enhancer, an augmentation, not an authority. This is the most sophisticated thing you can do with technology. Know where it ends and know where you begin. Remember those 50 people? They weren't careless. They've just never decided what decisions should be automated and what decisions should remain human. And honestly, most of us are in that room right now. I think about them because in a rush to be faster, more impressive, I let AI decide for me too. In small moments, the kinds you don't think about until you haven't made an original decision or had an original idea in 3 days. I say this as somebody who teaches this, somebody who built the framework, somebody who should have known better. But this is how quiet the erosion of critical thinking is. It does not announce itself. I'm not here to tell you to be afraid of AI. I'm here to tell you to be worthy of it. You now have a place to start. TASTE. It's not a slogan. It's not a practice. It's a lifestyle. And it's yours now. The real challenge is deciding which decisions are too important to ever automate. We have to be able to answer that. Which decisions require critical thinking and human judgment, no matter how advanced AI becomes? How do I know? Because history will not judge us by the intelligence of our tools, but by the discernment of our thinking. We've scaled misinformation, and now we must scale judgment. Because in a world of infinite information, the only scarce resource that we have left is human taste. Don't outsource your thinking to a system that cannot feel the weight of its consequences. Reclaim authorship, reclaim meaning, reclaim your agency. And above all, reclaim the pause that allows you to hear your own voice again and recognize your own taste.